Listen, woman.
This side. Does that mean when I hold things up, it's going to be backwards?
I don't know.
Look, it'll look like I'm on the wrong side, won't it? Nobody needs to see you that close, honey. Not even me.
That's a good picture. Why is it doing that?
I don't know. We're on the wrong sides. It's like you're doing it to someone else. If you were looking straight at us, that's what we would look like, wouldn't it?
What? I wonder if I can manage to pearl. Maybe I should start knitting on that when you're doing your 80 million or something. This stuff is squishy, wasn't it?
This stuff is squishy.
Yeah, that was it. Well, welcome to the Himalayas. No, it's Bakery Bears time.
I didn't know what you were going to say then.
Then we should have a little tune that starts. No, that's stupid. That makes me think of the Banana Splits.
Yeah, I was trying to think what that reminded me of. La 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 la.
But hold on, the monkey. Was it the monkey that was terrifying?
On Banana Splits?
Yeah, there was one of them that really scared me because they were on a beach, weren't they?
Yeah.
And they were in a crazy like dune buggy type thing, driving around the beach. And then, I mean, this is a long time ago. The last time I saw this, and it's imprinted on my brain. I have nightmares about this still now.
I don't remember what you're talking about. I mean, I remember the Banana Splits, but
there was a monkey with a permanent expression of it. Maybe it was excitement, but it looked like terror to me.
Oh right, I don't remember that.
We'll have to try it. It must be on YouTube.
Must be. I just used to like music.
Yes, it's 2015.
It is.
It's a new year.
Yeah, it wasn't the last time actually, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was. New Year's Eve.
It was, yeah.
Yes. So here we are.
Here we are.
Bakery Bears.
Episode
back. 17. And lots of new things going on.
Lots of new things.
But I think we should review Christmas and the New Year.
Okay.
Did you have a nice Christmas and New Year?
I did, thank you. Did you?
Yes.
Did you spend it with anybody nice?
No. Oh. Of course, everyone. Well, hopefully you saw the Christmas special, so you know what went on at Christmas. Yeah. But New Year's was a quiet one, wasn't it? I think
it was, just because we're not really New Year's people, are we?
No. It was noisy till about 9 o'clock when the neighbours went out.
Gosh. Yeah.
And then it was a quiet one.
And then it was quiet, and then we went to bed at like 10:30, didn't we?
But what about the food?
Food.
Yes.
Oh, the food. What to be cooked?
Well, on the evening, New Year's Eve, we had festive lasagna,
which
is very nice.
Dan made.
And I've got the ingredients to make that again.
All right. That was really nice. And Bryony ate it, which is always a plus.
And then on New Year's Day.
It was lovely, wasn't it?
Yes.
I made beef Wellington. And I think everybody will know what beef Wellington is.
Well, I don't know about that. You don't need to go into great detail.
It's basically a fillet of beef.
Not a fillet steak, not a small slice. Although you can make individuals, you've done that before.
I have made individual ones, but that's with fillet as well. It's fillet as in the cut, a big, the fillet steak, a big piece like that.
It's the thing they cut the steaks from.
Yeah.
So you just go and buy a great big long.
It was just short of 1 kilogram. Yeah. That we used, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And basically you make a mushroom duxelle, which is a reduction.
Does that involve ducks?
No. It's a reduction. Well, I say reduction, which I suppose it is.
Is that why it's called a duxelle? Because it's a reduction?
No, well, it's a French word. It'll mean something, won't it?
Maybe it means reduction.
No, maybe it does. Any French people out there?
Yes. French Canadians.
Oh, yeah. Well, Amelia, no, she's Portuguese Canadian. She might not do. Duxelle, what does duxelle mean?
Portuguese Canadian. You basically, how many types of Canadians are there?
French and Portuguese.
Do they have Welsh Canadians?
I don't think so. I don't think they have a Welsh Canadians. Maybe
or a Mexican Canadian.
But you chop up an onion and mushrooms, and you also use the dried mushrooms. What are they called?
They are called. Is it porcini?
Porcini, dried porcini mushrooms.
You've just broke a dream.
What?
I've dreamt in the last 2 or 3 nights
about mushrooms.
that I was making something.
You don't even like mushrooms.
I was making something, and I went to either the fridge or the microwave, and I found some porcini mushrooms soaking that I'd forgotten about and not used in something. How odd is that? Anyway, continue.
So you basically cook down some chopped onions, chopped mushrooms, and some porcini mushrooms, and I'm trying to think if there was any herbs in there. I don't think there was there?
Doesn't need to be,
no,
does it?
And seasoning.
It's a bit of parsley, maybe.
I don't think there even was parsley in the duxelle. And you cook it for about half an hour to get rid of all the water from the mushrooms, because there's tons of water in mushrooms. And you end up with like a kind of paste. And you let that go cold. You seal the fillet beef all round in really hot pan. So you seal it all around and then let it go cold. You then, when everything's cold, you then brush, or I brushed the fillet beef with some whiskey. I think Delia uses brandy, but you just brush it all over. I used whiskey because we didn't have brandy. And then you kind of, you pat all the duxelle all the way around the fillet beef. It does stick. And then you wrap it in puff pastry. You wrap the whole thing in puff pastry. And then you basically just cook it in the oven for, well, I mean, this was the thing, and I got it spot on, didn't I? Even if I do say so myself. Because we wanted it kind of medium rare. I don't like it bloody. You'll eat it very rare, but I won't.
To be honest, if you'd messed that up, that would have started my year off all wrong.
Yeah, but it was perfect. It was still, very pink in the middle, but there was no blood at all, and it was really, really nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then we had it cold the next day as well, and the next day.
Yeah, and I sort of like the fact that 4 days into the new year, I was sick of fillet.
But it was really nice beef, and we got it from a farm shop, which is just...
They've seen it.
Oh yeah, the farm shop.
Yes.
When we went to the farm shop, we got it from there.
Yes, Mainsgill Farm Shop.
Mainsgill Farm Shop. So if you're nearby, I mean, it was very, very good.
Yeah, highly recommended actually to anyone in the UK or coming to the UK. Go to Mainsgill Farm Shop on the A66, and you're guaranteed to get good meat.
And they have camels. Very randomly, they've got camels.
Strange.
It's kind of bizarre, yeah.
So Christmas and New Year was good, and I think our experiment with going away for Christmas.
We enjoyed it, didn't we? We did enjoy it. I was dubious about it because I don't think I've ever been away at Christmas. Always been at home.
We tend to get bored between Christmas and New Year, and at no point did that happen.
No, because we came home on the 28th, didn't we?
Yeah,
we had another Christmas when we got back, and then
a nice bit of turkey.
We did. We cooked turkey.
I went on a mission on the morning, didn't I? And the supermarket was dead. It was marvellous. Do you remember?
Just for some stuff when we got back.
Yeah. It was so great. That's the time to go. 7 o'clock.
On the 29th you went, didn't you? Yeah, and it was empty.
There was barely any staff in.
You were gone ages, and I texted you.
Because I was enjoying it.
And I said, what's going on? Are you all right?
I got a lot more stuff than you expected, though.
Yeah, I came back with like bags and bags full of things.
So just going to the shops again for a little bit, which was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was good.
So, New Year.
New Year.
Time to get cracking with some new stuff.
New stuff.
We're bringing back, by popular demand, favourite places to knit. Yes. And I think, perhaps, we should go and have a look at where we're going to be this year. I'm most excited about the Roman connection, which we started not last episode, but the episode before, when we went to Rome, and we thought it would be cool to link up all the Roman British history of the local area, because there's loads of it around the place. But also as well, it'll be great when we get towards in and around Easter to get down on the beach. Because there's some cool places, and if anyone's seen, I wonder if they get Father. What's it called? Old
Jack's boat.
Father Jack, I was thinking.
Father Jack, that's
Father Ted.
Father Ted. No, there's a CBeebies programme called Old Jack's Boat, and it's got Bernard Cribbins in it. If there's any of you in the UK with children, I'm sure you will have watched it and you'll know it.
Who's seen the Railway Children?
Yeah, if you've seen the Railway Children, the old one with Jenny it is Jenny Agutter, isn't it?
Yes.
And Bernard Cribbins is in that. Well, he's in Old Jack's Boat, and it's a lovely programme, but it's filmed in one of the places that we've been to, but we're going to go back to.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's a seaside town, but it's not I don't like the kind of touristy seaside towns very much. This is kind of like a working fishing village, more like, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really nice. So look forward to that.
Yeah. And also, we have a new section, but maybe we should say nothing about that until we get there. Designing too, there's all sorts of interesting things going on.
Yeah.
But again, perhaps we should say not very much. But we shall be bringing out our first joint pattern.
Oh, gosh.
And we shall talk about that later too.
It's hardly a pattern, really. Yeah.
Okay. So, shall we, as there's so much, we should probably do a bit of what's on your needles.
Right.
Shall we?
Yes.
So, Kay Jones, for the first time this year, what's on your needles?
Well, what I thought I'd do, because I don't normally show everything that's on my needles, because honestly, if we did that every week, we'd be here, for a year. But I thought it's the start of the year, so let's just have a little review of what's on my needles.
It's a homage to Dramatic Knits. Week in review. Yeah. We love that.
We love that, Steve. And I frogged a feather things in between Christmas and New Year. I just thought, you know what? I need to get some of this stuff off the needles. So I frogged my featherweight. If you remember my featherweight, I can hear people going, oh no! But I hadn't knit on it since July.
Oh, I didn't like that.
You didn't like it?
No, the green thing.
No, it was pink and cream.
Oh.
What a green thing.
The one that was all sort of, it was going to be a cardi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't green.
It's probably because you've just got a green thing on.
Gosh, honestly. Well, that's frogged, and a couple of other things as well that I'd sort of barely started. So shall we just dive in?
Yes.
So the first thing is what I'm knitting on right now, and I've actually cast on the second one. This is my Christmas Eve socks that we cast on. If you keep doing that, it bounces the thing.
Oh, sorry.
I just need to tell you that. We cast on with Danny from Little Bobbins. We all did like a Christmas Eve cast on, and loads of people have finished them. I'm sadly not one of those people, but I have finished one of them, and I'll stick this on a little sock blocker so you can see it. The issue that I'm having with this, I love the pattern, it's not the pattern at all. And here's the first one. Oh, I like that you can hold it quite close. We're recording on a new MacBook thingy-mabobby. So that's my first.
I don't think I've seen one of those before.
That's what they should call it. Here's my first one. It's the Evergreen socks. And I really love the pattern. Now I'll show you the issue I had, and I think it's got to be the yarn, and this has never happened to me before, and it kind of drove me bats. But do you know when you've turned the heel, and then you change the start of the round so it's at the back of the heel and like the middle of the foot whilst you're doing the decreases? Well, when I did that and I picked back up, I got this ladder. Can you see just here? And you're probably all going to go, oh, there's nothing there, but I can see it just for that section when I was doing the decreases. And I just didn't like that at all. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I put it down for a while and I was like, oh, I can't be having that. But then I put a picture on Instagram and everybody's like, oh, you know, it'll be fine, it'll block out and everything. So I thought, right, I'll finish it. So I finished the sock and I measured it to my foot, you know, I put it on my foot and I thought, right, that's okay, I'll do the toe. And then when I'd done it, I thought, that looks really short. And I've tried it on and it does fit, but really I think I should have done, you know, a couple more rows down here. Hey ho. But the yarn, I like the yarn, but I think it's a thinner yarn than I would normally like to knit with. It's quite a light fingering. And I'm using 2.25 mils as well, so it is coming out a bit smaller than I'd normally wear. But this is the yarn, it's Debonair. And it's high twist sock, 80-20, superwash BFL and nylon, and colourway is Pacific Shell. So I cast on the second one last night because it's been just sort of sat there in the bag of shame. But I thought, do you know what, I should just finish them. I really want to get them done before the end of January because, you know, it's a Christmas thing and I don't want that lingering.
Or you could let it linger the whole year.
And do it for now. I even thought about that. I did. I thought, do you know what,
I wouldn't, to be honest with you, and I would say this to anyone with leftover Christmas knitting, I wouldn't stress about trying to get it finished for last Christmas.
Should I just bag it up and leave it till November?
I would go, well no, I'd be tempted to say I've started early on,
that's true.
on my Christmas knitting for next year.
Yeah, could say that.
Because people have said to me so many times about getting stressed about stuff and not.
No, that's one I'm not getting stressed about.
It's knitting, isn't it?
No, it's knitting. You know, we shouldn't get
stressed.
It's not
supposed to be a stress.
No, it's not supposed to be a stress, is it? It's supposed to be a joy, and it is. But I think we do all get a bit of stress.
So anyone who's knitting on a Christmas project right now, I'm in awe of you all. You're so early.
So I'm not late. I'm early.
Fashionably early.
I'm early.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the first thing. And then I'm just going to dive into this huge box that I've got down here. And what's the first thing? Let's see. Right. This, I'm just concerned now I'm going to wobble the blooming laptop every time I put something on the table. Look.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a devil. There's no way around that, is there? To take it off the table, I suppose, but we'll just have to be careful. If it's wobbling a bit, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're conscious of it now, so it should be okay. The next thing is in this lovely huge bag that my friend Sue made me. Hi Sue. Are you in Virginia, Sue? Have I remembered that right? She's Susie Q Knits on Instagram. She made me this huge bag last year and I love it. So in here at the moment is my log cabin blanket. This is square number 10. Just so you can see. And I'm doing 12 squares, so I'm not far off. I've got all the colours in this one for this square. They're all in there. And then I did bring down the other 9. I've got the other 9 in here, look at that. And I am bordering as I go, I'm weaving in ends as I go, so that when I've done them all, you know, I'll just be ready to rock and roll and sew it together. So these are all my other squares that I've done, and this is KalCal bamboo cotton in every colour that they do, apart from black and white. So that's all my other 9 that I've got here. It's heavy, I mean, I will say that. I mean, it's cotton, and cotton is heavy, isn't it? But I think that'd be quite nice, that, you know, it's a nice sort of, a nice weight to the blanket. So it'll be 4 by 3 squares when it's done. So I'm on square number 10, so I'm just kind of working away on that. I should fill those back in there. So that's that one. In this bag, which is one of the very first bags that I think I ever made, actually.
Yeah, you can tell.
Isn't it cheeky? I don't think there's anything wrong with it, actually. My ends are not as nice as I do them now.
What material is that?
It's cute. It's little reindeers.
What were you thinking?
That's really cute. He's winding me up, isn't he? I mean, that's super cute. I haven't got any more of this fabric. But in here is something that I'm trying to design. It's not a toy.
And that'll be it.
That's all I'm going to say, and I'll move on.
Before you say something you shouldn't.
Well, I'm not, and I've not Instagrammed, I've not anything this, because I'm so nervous that it's just going to be a big pile of rubbish that I think if it is, then nobody's seen it. You know, it doesn't matter. So that's that one. Next, I know what's in here.
Beads.
Beads. You will all remember, or maybe you've blocked it from your mind as I have, the post office lady and the jewelled cowl. So I took it in, she loved it, she asked me for another. So I said yes at the time, and oh gosh, why can't I say no? I find it really hard to say no. So anyway, I've started another one, and she said a sort of grey neutral is for her son.
I was going to say.
Her son's girlfriend.
If you knew this lady having a boyfriend, that would be sort of cool.
That would be kind of cool.
I'm sure she will have been married for many, many years.
Yeah, she's a lovely, I think she's called Sue actually, I think. So I've started the final jewelled cowl I think I will ever make, because this is my third one now, and I rarely, apart from toys, I very rarely repeat a pattern. So I've had this in my stash for ages actually. I bought it to knit my sister something and then didn't use it. But I'm using another Crafty Girl Twinkle sock, which is 75 superwash merino, 20 nylon, 5 stellina, and it's the Casting Shadows colourway, and you can see the date on it. So I've had it in stash for a couple of years now, isn't it that? More than 2 years.
Do you know what? These jewel cowls, I've come to think that this is an item that should be owned by every discerning man.
Why?
Because they always say, don't they, when you're thinking about getting married, that you should look at the mother-in-law, and then you'll see what your partner's going to look like. If you had a jewelled cowl, you could just pop that on your potential wife-to-be, and you'll see what she's going to look like in 20 years.
He's awful about this cowl, and I've got one and I really like it, but now because of the way that he spoke about it, I just never wear it, which will please you no end, I'm sure. So here is where I'm up to so far. You can see I've not done a massive amount, and the beads I'm using are like a goldy sort of colour. It's real. The only other beads I had were like a purple, and I thought I can't use that if she wants something more neutral. And I didn't want to go out and buy more beads because, I mean, she is paying me for this, but only for the yarn, because I don't like asking for money or anyway. I think it's okay with the gold. Do you think it's okay? It's like a tonal dark and light grey. I'll show you the bit.
Now, important production question.
Yeah.
Are we dispensing with close-ups?
Well, we can do because I'm holding it close up.
Okay.
Because you can do that here. So here's the yarn. You can see it's a lovely tonal grey. It's really pretty yarn. It's got sparkles in it. So I think it'll come out really nice. Oh God, I thought I dropped a stitch. No, I haven't. And I'm using my 5mm carbons. I really like carbons. I know we've had this discussion many times. Some people hate them. Some people love them. I really like them. And I'm that much in. And I think with projects like this, I just have to kind of blitz them and get them done. But I must admit, I didn't do anything last night because I was like, ugh. So that's that one. And every time I pick the bag up, I hear that little jangle of beads, and I'm like, oh. And they're my beads. You can see them. They are, and I get my beads from Beads Direct. They're a really good, quick, fast service. Inexpensive, really. So that's that one. Pop everything back in there. So that will be done for the next podcast. There, I've said it, but only because for my own sanity, I just need to get it done. So that's that one. Next, in one of my lovely Christmas bags that I did.
At what point am I saying anything with regards to projects? I mean, have you got still an immense amount to go?
Not an immense amount. Another 4 after this one, so it's your turn after this one then.
Okay.
Yeah. This is some socks for Dan that I started on the way down at Christmas. Ooh, what's occurring? Is that a tap? Oh gosh, I've just pulled some stitches off. Oh dearie me, it's all going pear-shaped.
Disaster.
Let me just quickly scoot these back on before I have a heart attack. Right, I'll have to sort that out in a bit. I'm using some Regia yarn that I bought fairly recently. It is Regia Design Line, and it's the one by Kristen Nicholas, and this colourway is 45039. I think Farb is like lot number and party is the colour number, I think, but that's what it is anyway. And it's like really pretty reds and greens and browns and oranges, really, really nice. So I'm at this stage, I'm only on sock 1, and this is where we are. Really, I think it's knitting up really nice. It's got a huge colour repeat. I'm only just now starting back. Oh, was it just there? No, it's just kind of here, isn't it? I started back with the colour repeat. And I really like those. And I like the Regia yarn. It's really nice. I think it's the first time I've knit with Regia. And it's very similar to Opal, I think, in the feel. But I like that, it's super stretchy, because with Dan and his massive feet, it really needs to have a good amount of, boinginess. So that's that one. It's just 2.5 mils, 72 stitches, usual. So that's that one. So, Dan Jones. What's on your needle?
Oh, I got cramp in my inner thigh. Ow. It's a it's a bankhead hat. Here it is.
Upside down.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm doing a swivel. They get in all sorts of views, yeah, there we go. It's great yarn. This.
It's really nice yarn, and it's discontinued. I was just saying that it's the Rowan Pure Wool Aran. So if you can still get it. In some shops have still got some online, and I grabbed a few skeins when I saw it. I can't remember which shop I got it from. Maybe Love Knitting, but I mean, if you just search on Rowan Pure Wool Aran, then I'm sure you'll still be able to find some. It's really worth, if you can get some. I think it's really worth trying to get some. It's just a good kind of workhorse yarn, I suppose you'd call it. I knit a jumper out of this exact colourway, actually, the Irish Coffee.
Very nice.
I knit the Irish Coffee out of this. Really nice to knit with, washes up nice. So
good for boys and girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've been doing just a bit of a fun bankhead hat along on Instagram. There's been loads of really nice ones.
Yeah, and people are whipping them out in like an hour.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Not me.
No, who knit them? Kimmy knits. I think she's on her 3rd.
Well, Kimmy knits and Rista 13.
Yeah, Susan.
Started the bankhead hat along 4 days before it actually began.
You did.
But and
Ken.
Oh yeah, Ken's look great.
Ken's finished one, Turbo Knitter.
Yeah. Actually, you made me think he was sporting a new hat.
Oh, he was.
Just today, and I do think Ken, when he takes pictures, he looks like a model. He's really perfected that sort of looking off meaningfully into the distance. And always gets great angles as well. He's very good. He should be a model, Ken.
Okay,
so yeah, it's. I think I've realised with this, it's just fun. So, and I think other people think the same way, because I know people have done quite a few, specifically because of this bankhead along.
Yeah.
Which is just on Instagram, as I say, just a bit of fun. So yeah, all in all, I think everyone should always have a bankhead on the needles, because it's just easy quick-ish for fast knitters knitting. Yeah. So what else is on your needles?
Oh, my turn again. Right. I have no idea what's in this bag. Oh yes, it's another pair of socks, and you've seen these before. I've just put them down for a while just because I was working on other stuff. But these are my confetti socks, I call them. I wonder if I could put that on a blocker. I've never tried this, and it might be a recipe for disaster. How do I do this? That way. Oh look, you can. Cool. So these are my lovely, look at that, aren't they pretty? Oh, I need to finish these. I love this yarn, and I've got some more of this with a pale pink background with the little speckles. It's so nice. So this is Regia as well, and it's the 4-fadig colour, which I think is just 4-ply. Is that what that means? German people. 4-fadig colour, and it is 33498 if you wanted to get some yourself. And it's lovely yarn, and I just love the speckles. Who doesn't love speckles? So I'm on the gusset decreases of that one. So I do want to pick that one back up and get that one done. But it's been, I think, because when we went away, I just kind of took away lots of new things. And because that one was already on the needles, it kind of got pushed to one side, but I will get back to those. And again, it's just 2.5 mils. Standard 64 stitch, and the Hermione's Everyday sock is the template that I use as always, the lovely Erica. And what's in this one? Oh right, you might remember again that I said I was knitting a cowl for Bryony. Do you know she stole the silk cowl that Jen made me? And I thought, right, I'll make her own. Well, I did cast it on, and I knit the first couple of rows, which I think it's just a twisted rib, I think, from memory. I've just done, oh, that's back to front. Just done those first couple of rows, and I was all ready to start the pattern. I got the pattern out, and I looked at it and just decided, I just didn't want to knit this lace pattern. Because I don't think it's particularly difficult. It's a free pattern. It's the To Infinity and Beyond cowl from Hohi Locatelli. But I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. It's a cable and lace pattern, and I think it's something, yeah, it's a 26 stitch repeat, and I just wasn't in the right frame of mind to either put stitch markers in, because 26 stitches, that's a big repeat to kind of remember, and I'm not very good at really remembering lace patterns. So I thought, right, I am going to do it, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to substitute a simpler lace pattern. So I went through one of my pattern books, and I chose one, and I can't remember now exactly what it looks like, but it's called Herringbone Eyelets. I think it's in the top down all around book. And it's only a multiple of 9 stitches, and it's an 8-row repeat. So I thought, right, 9 stitches, I'll be cool with going all around. I've got a feeling it's just eyelets in a little offset sort of pattern. So I just wrote it all down, so that when I'm ready, I think I might need to just adjust the stitch count a tiny bit, but you know, that's fine. So that's what I'm going to do when I get to that. And it's beautiful yarn. I stole some of this yarn out of this skein to go into my sock yarn blanket, which I'll talk about in a minute. Beautiful, really, really beautiful yarn, and it's from Watercolours and Lace, and it's mulberry silk 4-ply in the pink wisteria colourway, and yeah, look at the price. But it is really beautiful. So I will get back to that at some point. I am not putting any demands on myself at the moment. Life's stressful enough. That's that one. And I've just got 2 more. Have you got anything else? Oh, you have. Do you want to talk about yours, or shall I do
Don't mind.
I'll do one more and then you can talk about yours.
Okie dokie.
And then this one, oh gosh, yeah, this one is what I gave Nana Wendy to knit on when we were down. And it's another Declan's hat for Dan. He's got one already that I knit a couple of years ago now, and you love it, don't you?
Yes.
Oh, there's no picture. Oh, that's silly of me. But it's Declan's hat on Ravelry. It's a cabled hat, beanie. So I'm doing him another one, and I'm using lovely, lovely yarn. It is Madeline Tosh Vintage in Stovepipe. Here's the colour. Ooh, it's so nice. It's kind of, I mean, that's very true to colour actually. It's a tonal blue-grey, I would say dark blue-grey. It's really beautiful. I'd love a jumper in that. I think it'd be gorgeous. And I'm still on the ribbing. Oh, I'm not doing very well, am I? So here we are. You can see how tonal it is. It looks kind of striped there, doesn't it? Which is quite cool. So I'm almost done with the ribbing, and then I'll start on the cabled pattern. It's got quite a deep rib, which I like. So that's that one. So, Dan Jones.
Is it me?
What's on your needles? Tell us about it.
Well, I decided the other day that I wanted to knit a scarf, and I had a look for different patterns and things, and I couldn't find anything that quite fit the bill. Because what I was thinking scarf that would definitely be worn by someone, by a guy who was not interested in knitting or knitted stuff. So, you know, I'm thinking ideal Christmas present for people who you know. And the person I was thinking of my stepdad, who you will have caught a little glimpse of on the Christmas special. So we're looking for different patterns and things and couldn't find anything. And I said, and then you got out your pattern book, and I was looking at, you were showing me different things, and none of those sort of fit the bill. And then it just sort of came to me, there should be a scarf to go with the handbrake hat. Why is there not? Oh, the handbrake hat. I've done it again. So that's why this scarf is called the handbrake scarf. No, it's still early days because I've not even properly knit this up yet, and I'm doing it at the moment. So the plan being, we'll knit it up, see if it works as we expect it to, and if it does, then we'll jot it down on a couple of sides and put it out as a free pattern. Come on! So here it is. It's very simple. I mean, it's just
you can see it now, yeah.
It's just like the bankhead, really.
It's the bankhead, but you wanted it on a diagonal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the pearl bumps are flowing through on the diagonal, and also as well, I'll also do a handbrake cowl.
Yeah, we spoke about whether it would be better because. Personally, I don't really like knitting scarves because, you know, a scarf has got to be longer than you would knit a cowl, just because of the nature of a scarf, isn't it? Because you wrap it around quite a few times.
Yeah, you do, but Kane and I discussed it, and what my mission as viewers, long-term viewers will know, is to try and convert guys to knitted products and to knitting in general. And a guy who's not into knitting, like me, pre-knitting, would not be seen dead in a cowl. Whereas now, I wear them and I don't wear scarves. But my stepdad, if I gave him a cowl, he'd look at me as if I was just totally insane and say that is a woman's item of clothing.
He would.
And also as well over Christmas, and recently I recall seeing people say things along the line of, I would love to knit that for a man in my life, but none of them will wear it. Whereas this, I think, why did it start to do that?
I don't know.
Because that wasn't 20 minutes in. That's silly. The screen started to dull. Oh, I think I know why. Because I think the battery just went down. I think it's just gone on to... oh, no, maybe not. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, New technology. We'll get there, but hopefully it's going to make things slicker and quicker. I'm very impressed actually with iCloud Drive, because all the footage that we're shooting will automatically go over onto my iMac, which is what I do the editing on. So that could save some time, which would be really good. But yeah, the handbrake scarf. I'll knit it as fast as I can, but we're probably talking 4 to 6 weeks.
I thought you were going to say months.
No.
Right, okay, I would go more months.
Well, I'm going to have to go faster than that. It's as simple as that. But yeah, there it is.
It's really nice, and it's just sort of technical details.
Well, don't...
I was just going to talk about the yarn.
Oh, okay.
When he said he wanted to knit a scarf, I went up to my stash and chose a few things, and more along the lines of this kind of yarn, Cascade 220, that sort of thing. And I brought down this one he's using as well. He's like, I'll have that one. And of course it's hand dyed, it's, the most expensive. But I've got 2 skeins of it, so I know that there'll be enough. And it's the Uncommon Thread. I love their yarn. And it's a special edition BFL that she did last year. And I got 2 skeins in 3 different colours. And I got this mid-grey, which is Plata, Plata. How would you say that? Plata?
The way you've just said it,
oh, right,
definitely.
Plata, and then I got a darker grey and I got a pink. No idea what I was ever going to do with it. So, it's a good use of it. And it's just BFL, superwash BFL, but it's lovely and so squishy. It's so squishy.
Oh, we can't do it. We're not even going to try and do it.
That sounded wrong.
Because
I was trying to do a matte impression.
No one can do a matte impression. He is a one-off.
So, yeah, it's really pretty. Tonal yarn. And the Uncommon Thread, if you can ever get any Uncommon Thread, she does... I think it's it's not an Etsy shop. It's her own website. And she does updates. You can follow her on, I think she's on Instagram. I think she's just the Uncommon Thread on Instagram, I think. It's a UK-based company, but all her yarn is just beautiful and the colourways are lovely. So well worth getting if you can get your hands on some.
Yes.
And you're using some Knit Picks needles that I got.
Don't like them.
You don't like them?
No.
Why?
They're too grippy.
Right.
And they're too pointy.
Right, well I'll swap it then.
There's
no point you knitting a massive long scarf on needles you don't like. It'll drive you nuts.
Okay.
These are Knit Picks Sunburst, I think they're called, the colourway. And actually, when you say they're too pointy, I think that's the reason I wasn't sure about them.
Right.
Because I tend to knit by pushing, and a lot of people do that. You push with, and you end up with dints in your fingers.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll swap those for you then.
Thanks. Go on then, more.
Well, it's my last whip. Was that a lot? It felt like a lot. Was that a lot of things?
Don't know.
It doesn't matter, does it?
No.
No. And I will just say, whilst I remember, I just saw that myself. I've not worn this one, I don't think, before. A scarf that I made a couple of years ago. It's called... oh my gosh, I keep forgetting the name of it. Something about ruffles. Simple little ruffles, no. Oh gosh, right, I'm going to quickly look it up while I remember. I'll tell you what the yarn is. It's Malabrigo worsted. And it's in the sapphire green colourway. I get confused when I say ruffles. There's another one that's ruffles, and it's not that one. It is, I shall tell you. And I cast it on my birthday a couple of years ago. And every time I wear it, I think I want 5 more of those in different colours because it's just so nice to wear. Here it is. I called it Sapphire Ruffles. It's called Just Enough Ruffles by Laura Chow on Ravelry. It's a paid for pattern, but I think it's only like £2 something. It's not very expensive. And it's really simple. I mean, you have to cast on a bazillion stitches and then you increase to 2 times a bazillion stitches for the ruffle. But I love it and it's super squishy and it took 1.6 skeins of Malabrigo worsted. So really nice pattern. Right, so my last work in progress is, all my fellow crocheters, prepare yourself. It's my crocheted sock blanket. Yay! And I've had to house it now in my big Fox bag, if you remember, that I bought, that I did use when we went away, and I had 4 or 5 projects in it, but it's now got so big and all my sock scraps are in there that I'm using that for my...
Could you do me a favour before you show it?
Yeah.
I made a mistake, and my brain is totally fried.
Because you're doing 2 different things. What have you done? My crocheted sock yarn granny blanket. If you follow me on Instagram, will have seen 10 million pictures of this recently, and I apologise for that. Well, I don't apologise for that, because I can't tell you how much I love this blanket. Don't I love this blanket?
Yeah.
I'm probably driving Dan a bit nuts about going on about it. And Bryony loves it as well, and she's like, when I sit there of an evening, she's like, oh, are you gonna crochet the squares? She's really cute. And she said to me the other day, she was watching me crochet, and she said, oh, that looks fun doing that. She was really cute. So I've just kind of gone nuts on it, and it's all I've wanted to do. So I don't know how much this is gonna, it'll fill the screen, but I'll hold up as much. I'll kind of go up. So here we go. That's where I am at the moment. You can see I'm just on that side there. And there it is in all its glory. So I've done 72-ish, I think, squares now. So I'm using a 2.75mm hook and sock yarn scraps, and each of my little coloured squares are taking about 3 grams. I weighed a few of them, different yarn types, just to see what they were weighing, and they were all 3 grams. Some of them might be a little bit less, some more, but that's just, ish. And that's where I'm up to. And then last night I did these. So these are my latest ones. That's some Felici in a Christmas colourway, and some of them I've even used, like, I had the tiniest scrap of something, so I've used that for that middle bit, and then done the outer 2 rounds with a different yarn. So I am using every little kind of scrap up that I possibly can. I liked that one. That's really nice. That's a what's it? Not Felici. Patterns Croy. That's a Patterns Croy yarn, which I really like. That's some opal, which is really nice. So I'm just doing 4 rounds of granny, and then joining it with the cream. And the cream I'm using is Cascade Heritage sock in the snow colourway. So that's where I'm up to, and loads of people have been, and I'm joining as you go, I'm joining the squares as you go, and everybody's been like, oh, how do you do that? And I've told, I've said a few times the tutorial that I used, which is on a blog, a UK blog called Attic24. It's a crochet blog, and she's done it for many years. She's called Lucy. It's a really excellent blog, and she's got lots of free tutorials, and one of them is joining granny squares, and that's where I learned how to do it. It's not a video tutorial, it is photos, but it's very easy to follow. But I decided yesterday, I said, oh, okay, I'll just sit down and record a quick 5-minute tutorial, not even a tutorial, it's just how I do it. And I kind of fluffed it a bit, because I'm not a crocheter, I'm not an expert by any means, but I thought I'll just show you what I do. So Dan's going to put that at the very end. If you want to, if you're not interested in that way, you don't have to sit through 5 minutes of being bored, me sat crocheting. So it's right at the very end if you want to watch it. So this is my blanket, and I love it. And I've just finished the first skein of the cream. And I did, because I'm not buying this year, and I haven't bought at all this year, and I feel really good about it. Really proud of myself. I did get 3 more.
It's the 14th of January.
I know, but that's a long time for me. I've gone 2 weeks without buying anything.
Yeah.
That's really good for me. Well, any knitter knows, going 2 weeks without buying anything. So before the end of December, I did order 3 more skeins of the cream, because I knew I was going to need it. So 1 skein has given me about 72 squares, so I know I can get to 7, 14, 21. I'll have about 280 squares. But I probably won't do that many because I need to think about how I'm going to edge it. I'll need some of the cream to edge it. I'll probably do like a couple of rounds of just plain granny, and then maybe like a picot edging or something like that. But that's way in the future. So that's where I'm up to in that, and that's my very favourite thing at the minute. I just love it. And I think I love it so much because, you know, as I'm crocheting each little square, I think about what I made with that yarn. And some of them I haven't even made anything yet. I went through all my sock yarns and stole little bits out of them. Not wound skeins, just balls, you know, like opals and regias and things like that. And just stole little bits out of them. So and it's also like, I remember, you know, I did quite a lot when we were on holiday, and I think about Christmas and the holiday when I look at it, and I'm doing quite a lot like on a weekend in the morning, because me and Bryony are always up early and Dan's been going walking, so we'll sit and watch the Waltons. Dan bought me series 7 of the Waltons.
Die, Waltons!
Well, the thing about it is, right, up until I think series 5, you could just get it as a normal DVD, and then for some reason after that it's the German version. It was produced in Germany. I don't know why. So it's, you know, it's all got German writing on it and everything, and all you have to do is you just have to switch off the subtitles basically. When you go into each episode, just switch off the subtitles and it's like a perfectly normal episode then. But on the front cover, instead of the Waltons, it says Die Waltons. And Bryony saw it and she went, "Oh, what's that?" She was mortified. And I explained it, and now she laughs about it. So on a weekend morning, I put the Waltons on and we watch Waltons and I crochet away, and I feel like it's 1942.
I wrote crochet the other day and put crotchet.
He did. He was writing the notes down and he put crotchet. And he calls it crotchet. Have you got that crotchet blanket?
That's a musician speaking.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for a little bit of crochet speak there, and you non-crocheters out there, but I would really encourage anybody who hasn't crocheted before.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, I would say that. And I know a lot of people can crochet, because I think it's a good skill to have as a knitter, because quite often, you know, you'll do a crochet provisional cast on and things like that. You know, I think it's just handy to have in your armoury of skills. Give it a go. You know, there's tons of tutorials out there for granny squares. And everybody's got a scrap of sock yarn. Just go out and get yourself a little crochet hook and give it a go. Honestly, I really would encourage you. And I'm just going to show you my favourite square. And again, it's a 2-tone square. And it's... Where have you gone? Where have you gone, little square? There you are. That middle bit is the purple of Bryony's cowl. There you go. And then the outer bit is... Oh, it's the pink Eden Cottage yarns that I've used a billion times for various different projects. I love that. And I also love that purple. It's like a lilac-y purple, and that is it's an alpaca, 100% alpaca. What's the alpaca yarn that everybody buys that's really cheap but really nice? Drops. It's Drops alpaca. I really love that lilac, and I loved this little section together. Can you see that lilac and the pink and that on there? Oh, I love it. Can you tell I love it? I'm going to stop talking about it now. We shall move on.
It's time for me to select someone for what's on your needles. What?
I thought I was doing it.
Are you?
I'm doing it.
No.
I am.
Oh no, that's awful. No, we thought, as it's a new year, it's time for a change. So the slate is white clean. I am no longer selecting anyone for what's on, off, or in your oven. I will wrestle the reins from Kay for what's on your stereo when we do that, but more about that later. So from now on, it's Kay you need to be connecting with, shall we say. So you're going to adopt the same
I think
formula as me.
So the reason he said, Dan, it's gone like that again.
Did I?
The reason he said I wanted to say sleet is wiped clean. That's wrong.
Slate.
The slate is wiped clean. It's because it may be that...
Just remember your school days, Kay. You know when you used to do your maths on the slate?
Yeah, I am old. I can't remember off the top of my head all the people that Dan's chosen, obviously, over the months.
But also it doesn't matter, does it?
No, because it may be that I end up choosing somebody who's already been chosen by Dan, and we didn't want people, to say, oh, she's already been picked or whatever.
It's a new selector, so slate wiped clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
just connect with the old lady on Instagram, Ravelry, or
that's basically where I'm going to choose my people from. Just people that I've been chatting to on Instagram, or somebody who's grabbed my attention with a beautiful project, or anything along those lines. So my choices for this week. Which one am I doing? Am I just doing one?
You're just doing one, dear.
I'm just doing one. Which one?
What's on your needles?
Right. Okay. What's on your needle? Right. I don't know how you normally did it. I'm kind of nervous because it was like your thing. Okay, this person, what I will say, stop with that face.
I was born with that face, I'm sorry.
The three people I've chosen for the three categories are some of my little crochet friends. So you're all excited now, aren't you? It's not all of them, because obviously I can only choose 3, but I've chosen the 3... Oh, stop it. I can't stop looking at you now instead of... I've chosen 3 of the people that have been crocheting along with me, and, we've been chatting. So the first person for What's on Your Needles is... Looks like you're going to explode. It's Susan. Vista 1313.
Oh, I nearly went.
You did. You'll pass out. Susan. And do you know what, Susan? I looked at where you lived because I didn't...
Is that Girl Cave Bags?
Yes. She's Girl Cave. You remembered. Yeah, Susan is Girl Cave Bags on Etsy. And she's been crocheting along with me and along with us. It's not just me. Everybody's doing it. And her blanket's beautiful. She's using like this teal blue for the background. It's really, really pretty. So if you don't follow Susan on Instagram, go and have a look. She's Rista1313. And she lives in Michigan. I didn't know, Susan, where you were. So I thought, I'll have a little look where you are. She's in Michigan. So go over to, as Dan would say, go over to the forums. Tell us what is on your needles.
We want to see.
Maybe because it's the start of the year, you could do what I did and just pile all your whips in a big pile and show us what you're knitting. So, yay.
Well, that was exciting. And more excitement, I think, because I want to know, Kay Jones, what's in your oven?
Well, what's in my oven today? Well, there's nothing in my oven yet. But what is going to be in my oven today is...
That can't be the name of the segment. What's going to be in my oven?
But it's not in my oven.
It should be.
Thank God. What I'm going to do today is a recipe. I don't even know that I can call it a recipe. It's something that I've made for years and years and years, and you can whip it up in 10 minutes. And I don't know anybody that wouldn't like these. And I call them mini Victoria sponges. So, shall I whiz round the ingredients first then? So we are going to need, for this demonstration I'm using 2 eggs, but you can actually use, and I'll explain that in a minute, you can use as many eggs as you want to make really, but I'm using 2 eggs. I'm using stalk, which is, I don't know really what you call it. It's not butter. It's like a baking spread, I think it would be called. It's a very traditional product here in the UK. I don't know if you can get it in the States, but I always use stalk when I'm making just a plain sponge cake. Some vanilla extract, and this should be, I'm quite religious about this, it should be real vanilla extract, not essence. You can get essence in little jars, but you'll find it has a lot of alcohol in it and it just doesn't have the flavour and it's not nice to my mind. So vanilla extract, self-raising flour, caster sugar, and then for the filling, I've forgotten one thing, but it doesn't matter at this stage. We need icing sugar and real butter, and we also need some jam, which I'll get afterwards. The only other things that we need, excuse me, are some cupcake cases, mixing bowl, weighing scales, and a whisk. Now you can either use an electric whisk, or you can just use a balloon whisk, which I do quite often use if you're just making a small batch. But I'm going to use an electric whisk for this demonstration. So now you'll find lots and lots of recipes everywhere for Victoria sponges, and they'll all kind of be slightly different but similar. What I do, and I can't remember where I first read about this, but I think it's a Women's Institute recipe. And you don't actually need a recipe, which is the good thing. All you need to do is you take your eggs, shell on and everything, and you weigh them. Now I always work in ounces when I'm doing baking. That's just because that's what I've always done. But you can work in grams, it works equally as well, it doesn't make a difference. So you weigh your eggs. Okay, and these, they're rolling off. They're 4 5/8 of an ounce. Now if you want to convert that to grams, I've got 131 grams, so I'll do it in grams for this, just for ease, I think, because I know people understand grams a bit more, I think. So 131, you've got to remember that. What we do, we'll break our eggs into the bowl. I'm doing this I normally do it on a harder work surface. So we pop our eggs in is the first thing. And if I was Paul Hollywood, I'd do that one-handed, but I'm not. So just get time to wrap my hands.
Hollywood!
Okay, so we've got our eggs in. And then we pop our bowl on the scales and zeroise it. Okay, and then everything else that we put into the bowl has to be the same weight as the eggs. It all goes in together. Doesn't matter which order you put it in. So we're basically, for the sponge mixture, we've got eggs, flour, sugar and butter and vanilla. So you basically got 4 ingredients plus your vanilla. So we'll do our sugar first, so 131 of everything, 131 grams of everything. So we'll just weigh that in. And this is where it's good if you've got the scales that do zeroise after, you put something in, you can press 0. So 131. Oh gosh, bang on, 131. Okay, so 0. So that's our sugar in. Flour next, and it's self-raising flour. So 131 of the flour, and again I will say make sure your measurements are as precise as possible because it does make a difference. 29, 31. Okay, next in, we've zeroised it, and next in is the, I will say butter, but it's not butter, the stalk. So I'm going to get a chunk of that in. I've always used stalk, and because my mum used it, and it's a very old English ingredient. I hope you can get it in the States. I'm not sure what a substitute would be. Maybe we should ask Denise. Denise, tell us in the episode thread if you can get stalk over there, because she will know what it is. There we go. Right. And I've now got stalk all over my fingers, so I'll just give those right. And then the last thing we put in is just a little splosh of vanilla. I never really measure this, I just put a little splosh in. So I suppose if you were measuring it, I'd probably say about a teaspoon, but I just do that. And then all we do is we whiz all this together. So I'll take my mixer and just whiz it all together, and don't over mix it, just to the stage where it's all mixed and you've got a lovely smooth fluffy mixture. So I'll do that now and then we'll come back and do it. whisked it all up, and this is kind of what you're looking for. It's, as Delia would say, you've got a soft dropping consistency, which means if you take a spoon and you kind of knock it on the side there, it drops off. So what we do then is we put some muffin cases, and it's these ones that are kind of deep, the proper muffin cases, not the little cupcake cases, into a muffin tray. And I'm guessing how many, because I've done this before, I think I'm going to get kind of 6 to 9. It really depends on how big your eggs are, how many eggs you use, as to how many actual little cakes, buns, I would call them buns, little buns that you get. And then all we do is we fill up our cases, not to the top, probably kind of, halfway, 3/4. I start off putting a couple of teaspoons in, and then go back round again. And I just know really from eye how much needs to be in there, but you're talking kind of at least halfway full, but no more than 3/4 full.
So you would call these buns?
Well, I call them buns.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. But if I was to get the same tray,
yeah,
and if I was to mix up a batch of bread dough,
yeah,
and make individual little bread rolls,
yeah,
what would you call those?
it's a bread cake.
So the savoury is the cake,
Yeah.
and the sweet is the bun.
Well, that is just
Okay.
It's a Yorkshire
Just wanted to
thing.
get some clarity on that.
We have this debate constantly about what a bread roll is called. I call them bread cakes. Dan calls them bread buns, I think. Do you?
No,
Is this the debate that we have?
I call them bread buns. Do
Yeah.
I? Do I? I call them bread rolls.
Bread rolls. Who calls them bread buns then?
Or bread.
Oh gosh. I'm just popping another one in there because I can see I've got enough mixture.
Whereas you call the sweet version a what?
These?
Yes.
Well, they're buns, aren't they?
Bun.
Well,
And you call the savoury version a cake.
gosh, well, it's the Yorkshire in me. So
Is
now
it?
I'm going back round and just adding. I've got 10 out of that amount of mixture. So 2 eggs, you'll get about 10.
It's clearly South Yorkshire, because in North Yorkshire it was bread.
You see, if Bryony was here, she'd be in now licking this bowl. She's absolutely a fiend for cake mixture.
I used to.
Yes, it is lovely actually. So you can see they're all it doesn't matter if some are a little bit bigger than others, we're not chefs in Claridge's or anything. So, got our mixture in the muffin cases. We now put them into a preheated oven. It's been preheating while I've been doing this. About 180 degrees C. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit, I'm afraid, so you might have to convert it. I always work Celsius, and that tends to be what our ovens are over here. So about 180 degrees C for about 15-20 minutes. And again, all ovens are different, so I will say 15 to 20 minutes. But basically you want them to be risen and a nice golden colour, and if you just touch the top, it'll bounce back. So I'll go and pop them in the oven and we'll come back when they're done.
Well, I can't wait to see how those beauties turn out.
No.
They're going to be yummy. It's time for What's Off Your Needles.
You didn't say it in the way you normally
Yeah, well, I'm about to.
Oh, okay.
I've been working up to it. Kay Jones, what's off your needles?
What's off mine is, well, I very, very nearly...
That's nice. Sorry.
I very nearly had nothing. Just because I've just been working on my sock yarn blanket all the time. And I suppose you could say I've got 70 finished objects with each little square.
Yes.
That would work.
Yes, I'm sure that's what Matt would say from the Apple Blossom and You podcast. Continue.
But I do have a finished object. And Bryony for ages. Bryony's, as you know, has millions of knitted toys, and she's got 2 Love Bots. It's Louis the Love Bot by Rebecca Danger, And she's got 2 of them, and one of them I knit in chunky yarn, and that's Daddy Bot. It's quite big. And then the other one I knit in an Aran weight yarn, and that's Mummy Bot. No, it's not Mummy Bot, it's Leela Lovebot, isn't it, from Futurama. That's Leela Lovebot, who's kind of like the daughter of Daddy Bot. It's all very complicated. And for ages she's been asking me for a Mummy Bot. And she's like, oh, it needs to be in between the sizes of Daddy Bot and Leela Lovebot. I'm like, oh, blowing my mind. But the yarn that she wanted is, and I'll show you the Lovebot, it's Cascade 220 Superwash. She chose these colours. And this is the yarn she wanted, which of course was the same weight as the Leela Lovebot I'd done. So I thought, right, okay, I'll just try and knit it on bigger needles. So I did that. I'd normally knit toys that's this kind of weight yarn on like 3.25 mils, but I knit this on 3.75 mils, hoping it would come out bigger, and it's exactly the same size.
No.
But anyway, she loves it, and she said it was fine, because Bryony's almost as tall as me. She's not far off, really, is she? I think she's like 4'11" or something, and I'm 5'6". So I knit her in 24 hours, basically, just because I've been promising her one for ages and ages, and I didn't really feel like knitting it another one. You know, it's the 3rd one I've knit, but she really wanted it, so I just thought, right, I've just got to blast it out. So I did. So it's in Cascade 220 Superwash, and there she is, hold her close. And the 2 colourways, I can't fully remember the colourways, but I think I did put some colourways on the project page, and I think it might be Pink Ice, and I can't remember the purple, but it's on my project page. The only thing I did differently, the heart in the pattern is in Tarja. Now, I've never knit in Tarja, and quite honestly, I never want to knit in Tarja, especially in Tarja in the round, really. So what I did on the other 2 was I duplicate stitched it, or Swiss darned it, as some people say. And I just did the same thing on this one. And if I'm completely honest, I think doing it this way, you get a neater finish than the intarsia, because even on the pattern, intarsia kind of pulls it in a little bit like that. And it's such a tricky technique, and this is so easy to do, you know, you just duplicate stitch it. So that's what I did. And I think she came out really cute, and I love her little stripy arms. And I knit this, actually, it's probably not a nice memory, but we were watching the goings on in Paris last week, and you know, and I had the news on all day from like 11 in the morning right through to when it ended at sort of tea time. I was watching it all day, and this is what I was knitting on while I was watching, you know, the horrific goings on in Paris, just absolutely awful. So anyway, Bryony absolutely loves her, doesn't she? Absolutely loves her. And this yarn is fantastic for toys, Cascade 220 Superwash, I think. So there she is. I love her little feet. And let me tell you, those feet, I always struggle, because what you do is you knit the foot and then you put in waste yarn and then take out the waste yarn and knit up. It's a paid for pattern, so I won't give you too many details. But I always end up with a hole on one side. The other side's fine. I always end up with a hole on one side, and I worked out why this time. It's because you do something in the pattern which means that on that row you don't have like a normal full stitch to pick up from. Anyway, I worked it out, and I think it looks okay this time. Little feet. So there she is. So Dan Jones.
Yes.
What's off your needles?
Well, finally,
Yay.
They are finished. One is massively bigger than the other.
Well, one is bigger than the other. And it wasn't, the row count is the same. It's your gauge.
So was the one I finished second bigger?
Yes.
Right, so I've loosened up as I've gone.
Something like that. I think, you know, his gauge has got to be either that, or it was the row count and I just give you the wrong row count. But, you know, one is slightly longer than the other. But they're fine.
She likes them.
She likes them, she's wearing them.
She's not complained.
No.
And she's Mrs. Picky Pants.
She is.
So
there are Dan's lovely socks. Yay! You can see the colour really well there.
And I think we should just let her wear them whenever she wants to wear them, because of the wool
Yeah.
And because of her growing.
She's worn them 3 or 4 times. You can see they've started to sort of pill a little bit on the bottom, but it's fine.
Let them pill.
And you can see the colours super well. You've not been able to see the colours very well previously, so there we go.
Pilling is good.
Oh, it's part of life. As a knitter, isn't it, really? It's part of life. Wool pills. Let's live with it.
I remember buying my mum at Christmas a pill remover.
Oh, yeah.
For jumpers.
Yeah.
Which are like
there are a few out there that are really good.
Yeah.
And I bought one. I can't remember what I did with it, but it was just like a manual one.
This was electric.
Yeah.
Put it on and it...
I wonder if my Pedi Pro might work.
Oh, lordy. It's time for another person.
Oh. So, what's off your needles? Are you ready? Again, this is another one of my little crochet pals. And this person again is doing the crochet blanket.
She's not just a crochet pal though. I mean, she's like...
No, she's a really good friend. And
yeah.
I think, has she knit a blanket square for us? I'm not sure.
To be fair, most people did.
So
thank you
probably
so much.
did. So are you ready? What's off your needles is Fairy Little. It's Marsha in Canada.
Is her name Marsha?
Marsha.
I never knew that.
No, do you know, and isn't it funny? Fairy Little is ridiculous that we call people by their Instagram and Ravelry names. But Fairy Little is Marsha.
Wow.
In Canada.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on a Ravatar, I think you've got like a baseball cap on.
What does she need to do?
Is that right? You need to go over to the forum, the What's Off Your Needles, and show us the last thing that you finished.
Yay!
Yay!
We can't wait.
We're
show
us,
excited.
Marsha. And again, Marsha's knitting. If I say knitting when I'm talking about the crochet blanket, I'm sorry. I might have done it a million times. I've knit this crochet blanket. You know what I mean.
I think I can smell those cakes. I think they've nearly finished cooking. Should we go back and I think we need to ice them and slice them and taste them.
Okay, so these are done now. Mine have had 22 minutes. But, anywhere between that 15, 20-ish minutes. So here they are. And we'll pop them. And we just need to leave them to go completely cold now. Which might be sort of 20 minutes, half an hour at the most. And then we'll come back and we will do our icing. Okay, so now we're going to do the buttercream filling. Now you can use fresh cream, whipped fresh cream if you prefer. I just like buttercream because it keeps better. If you use fresh cream, you're then going to have to stick them in the fridge. I don't like putting sponge cake in the fridge because then it makes the sponge kind of go a bit hard. So I always use buttercream. Plus I think that tastes better than fresh cream. So the way that I make buttercream is really simple. Again, it's not really a recipe as such. All you need to remember when you're making buttercream is that you've got icing sugar and you've got butter. Again, use your favourite butter. And the butter, I always use salted butter, and I know a lot of chefs say use unsalted butter for the buttercream. I just prefer the taste of the salt. I think it does add a bit more flavour, but it's entirely up to you. So all you need to remember is that you use half butter to icing sugar. So in here I've got 6 ounces, which is 170 grams of icing sugar. So I know that I've got to have 3 ounces of my butter. So I'm just going to put that back on the scales and zeroise it. And we need 3 ounces. So again, I'm using ounces just because I will tell you what it weighs in grams, but I'm kind of an old-fashioned girl. I'm going to guess that might be about 3. It's 3 1/4. Not a bad guess, not a bad guess. There we go, 3. Oh, and the other thing is the butter should be soft. It should be room temperature. You'll never make buttercream if your butter is directly from the fridge. It needs to be room temperature. And then the other thing I do is, again, I put in a little splosh of vanilla. Just a tablespoon of milk, not very much at all really. And again, I'm going to go over and whip this. Now the key to buttercream in my opinion, and again this is just my opinion, I'm not an expert, the more that you whip buttercream, the fluffier and lighter it will become. So, you know, I would say, you know, use an electric whisk wherever possible. If you can do it by hand, but it will take longer. And give it a good 5 minutes of whipping, and it'll get very light in colour, almost white, and really, really fluffy and light and absolutely yummy. So I'm going to go and do that now. Oh, don't film this. Okay, so we've whipped our buttercream, and I hope you can see how lovely and light and fluffy that is. It's so delicious, I can't tell you. So I whipped it for, like I said, a good 5 minutes with the electric whisk. You can't over whisk it, so you know, you can keep going and keep going until you think it looks right. And the way I test to see if it's done is if you just try a little bit. It was nice. It shouldn't feel sort of grainy, it should be lovely and smooth. If it's any sort, if you feel it it's grainy in any way, just go back in for like another minute or so. So we've got our buttercream all lovely and whipped. And if it feels a bit stiff as well, just add a touch more milk. Again, you know, measurements are not precise, so you might just need a touch more milk to get it. You want it fairly stiff, but not dropping, you know, consistency. So we've got our buttercream, we've got some jam, and I'm using Tiptree raspberry, just because that's what we had in, but Dan tends to like raspberry better than strawberry. So, but whatever you prefer, you could use black cherry or strawberry or raspberry or plum or whatever you like. And then what I've done is the cakes have now cooled, and I've taken off the outer casing. And then what we do is we take a little bun, we cut it in half, and then on one half we'll put some jam, and the other half we'll put some buttercream. So however much you want, really, it's up to you. Whatever you know, if you like lots of jam, put in a big blob. You don't have to spread it out too much, but just a little bit, and then buttercream. I do tend to put a nice big blob because, to be honest, if you're going to have a cake, you know. Don't think, oh, it's so fattening and all the rest of it. If you're going to have one, have it. That's what I say. And then you just put one on top of the other, give it a little bit of a squidge. Get a fresh, clean case. I've got some with little polka dots on. Pop it into your case. And then a final little thing I do is I've got some icing sugar in a little shaker. Just pop a little bit of icing sugar on top. And then I've got some edible glitter. I'm just going to lick my finger because it had buttercream on. Oh, it's so nice. I've got some edible glitter. I'm just going to put a little sprinkle of edible glitter on top. No, you can't use non-edible glitter. It has to be the edible kind. That has to be a silly question from Dan, didn't it? Just for a little added sparkle. And that's it done. So I'll just go ahead and finish the rest of them. Some of them, Bryony doesn't like jam, so I'll do some with just buttercream for her. And then just a few. Ooh, is that super close? Just some with jam and buttercream. And they'll keep for, 3-4 days in a sealed container, just in a cool place. Don't put them in the fridge because your buttercream will go rock solid and it'll just be pleasant. So there they are. Do you want a little close up on what it looks like when it's finished? My mini Victoria sponges. I hope you really like them.
You just headlined your dish.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh right, okay.
It looks like Dexter's about to eat it.
Oh, with the knife. They're super yummy, so I hope you enjoy them.
Well, we'll go find out now if they are super
We'll
yummy.
find out. We'll give one to Bryony back. Nice. Nice. I like it.
What out of 10?
10. 10
Is it? Are you sure? Because you've not given 10 out of 10 before. Are you sure? Is it 10 out of 10?
Have another bite.
Well.
And get the buttercream as well.
That's shocking.
Okay.
10 still.
Look at the sparkles. I did those sparkles just for you, Kermit Van Frog, for Sam. She's a glitter girl. I thought about you when I was glittering those buns.
So that was a first 10 out of 10.
It was.
First ever 10 out of 10 from Bryony.
Yeah.
So now we need to see what I think. So I've got a very small mouth, so it's always very difficult to get these things in.
No.
Oh no!
Oh no! Not the whole thing.
Oh no! No, I don't like it.
That's fine. You don't have to eat them.
I do really. I'm just
Oh,
joking.
they're so yummy.
There is. There's some very nice jam in there. It's delicious. And simple. Is it simple?
Very simple. I think it's super simple.
Just important that you have a blender.
Blender.
Well, whatever you use to
Electric-
mix the thing.
Well, yeah, electric
Because
whisk.
if you try to do it by hand.
No, the electric whisk really is more for the buttercream, because you really whip that buttercream, and that is the key to good buttercream, I think.
Newsflash. Denise has no idea that they can't get stalk.
Really, you can't get stalk.
But surely, could you not just use margarine?
You can use margarine, or you can use butter. You know, a lot of people would make a Victoria sponge with butter, and it's delicious because butter adds a lot of flavour, obviously. But I think stalk gives a lighter cake, and because I like putting in buttercream, which I think has a lot of flavour, because you're using butter, real butter in the buttercream. I think it's nice to have a light, fluffy cake, you know, as opposed to a heavier, buttery cake. But, you know, you must be able to get something then instead of stalk. I mean, it's just margarine, really.
It's like baking margarine, isn't it?
It's called a baking spread. So, I mean, have a look in your supermarkets. But if you can't find stalk or something similar, then you can use butter. As long your butter's got to be at room temperature, you know, very soft.
Unlike when you span the stalk.
It wasn't quite. No, not the stalk. The butter from a buttercream wasn't quite.
I'm all confused.
Soft. So yeah, you can use butter if you can't find stalk. I'm really sorry you don't have stalk. That's sad.
New section time.
You've now got glitter all over your face.
Nice. Time for a new section. Other people do sections like this.
Yes.
But we thought that we would rotate this with what's on your stereo.
Yeah.
So what's on your stereo, the thread's great, and I've learned so much and tried so many new tunes, which has been superb. We'll continue to do that. But we thought, new year, obviously, favourite places to knit is coming back. And, well, it will be next episode. Mm-hmm. If the weather's bad, it will be the Railway Museum. And very exciting, super exciting, because the first ever railway line was laid from Darlington.
Yeah, it was.
So that's seriously cool. But hopefully we'll be at a Roman site, which will be super cool. But in the meantime, let's get on with our new section. And our new section is called What's on Your Bookshelf? So the reason why we thought this would be a good section to do is Kay and I are at the total polar opposites in books and what we read, should I say. Yeah. So we really are. If I'm at the Antarctic, you're at the Arctic. Yes.
This is true.
Yes. So we thought what would be good, first time doing this section, is if we talk about our is it our favourite book?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about our favourite book, and we're going to talk about the book that we're currently reading.
Yeah.
So I think we should start with the lady.
With what? My favourite book?
Yes. Let's start with the lady.
It's, you know, anybody who reads will know this is very difficult to decide on, but actually it wasn't difficult for me at all. And Dan instantly said, it'll be that. Okay, and this book is very old. I've read it 7 or 8 times. It has got to be 7 or 8 times, if not more.
It's the Beano.
And, I don't think this... Sally, you know what this book is. Sally knows already.
So keep quiet.
Don't say anything.
Oh, yeah.
And it may
Try and
be...
Try and guess. What could it be?
Well, yeah, I mean, nobody knows what kind of reader I am.
No, but they're about to find out.
And they're all going to go, oh, she reads such rubbish.
The tension, it's palpable.
Are you ready? Here it is. Da, da, da. So you're now all going, never heard of it, or, oh my gosh, I've read that, or, what is she reading? That's a load of old rubbish.
She looks like Daryl Hannah.
She does look, and actually Daryl Hannah was in the movie, which was dreadful. They did a movie version of this, which must have been a TV thing. Oh, it was absolutely awful. Do not watch it if you've, ever seen that they do a movie. So it's The Clan of the Cave Bear by, Jean M. And that word there, I've never worked out how you would say that.
Owl.
How do you say that? Aoul.
Owl.
This is my very
owl.
old...
Yeah, owl.
I don't know that it is that. You can see how old this copy is. I mean, just look. It's so old and it's got that very old book smell to it. And it's... Look at the bookmark that's in here that I found. I knit a leaf and used it as a bookmark. How cute.
You're so talented.
I know. But it's a series of books. I'm probably preaching to the converted here, maybe. I was just having a look to see whether it tells you a bit about her. I have looked on her website, and I think she's American. But with a name like that, obviously it must come from France or somewhere similar.
We want to know why it's your favourite book.
Well, this is my favourite book for a number of reasons. But the main reason, I think, is that it's just such a fabulous, epic story. And it really is epic. There's 7 books in the series, and she started it, I think, in 1981, and it only finished in the 2000 and something. It's just a few years ago she released the last one. And I first read this, and I just could not stop reading it. The characters just seem to jump off the page, when that happens.
What year would you say?
Gosh, I would have been in my 20s when I read this.
So in the 60s then?
Yeah. Funny. It was published in 81. When was this?
First published in 80.
Yeah, when did this version come out though? 88 is mentioned there. I bet I've had this since about 1990, something like. Yeah, I would have been 21, that's probably about right. And I just, read, I just could not stop reading it. And the main character is this girl called Ayla. And the crux of the story, just very, very briefly, is that Ayla is a human as we are, but she lives in the time where there's still cave people. There's still, and I've got to say that word.
Neanderthal.
Thank you. Can't say that word.
Neanderthal.
I shall call them cave people.
Yes.
And they live side by side. And when she's about 5, there's a huge earthquake, because it's during the time when the earth is moving a lot. There's a lot of earthquakes. And basically her entire village gets wiped out and she's left by herself. She's only 5. She was swimming at the time in the river, so she's naked and all the rest of it. She basically doesn't know what to do, this little girl. She starts wandering off. After many, many days and lots of things happening to her, a group of cave people find her.
Ooh.
Near that your cave people in front of you.
Yeah.
And basically,
that's how I speak till I have coffee on a morning.
Basically adopt her. The head of the clan, as it's called, a cave people, allows it. It's very. Some people in the clan just wanted to leave her by the side of the river and not pick her up. There's this one cave person, cave lady, picks her up and looks after her. She's like a medicine woman. And it's the story that just goes from then up until her being, into an adult, and I think in book 7, I'm guessing she's maybe heading towards 30. Everything happens much younger in those days. Cave people had children when they were like 9 and 10 and really ridiculous. But they just didn't live very long in those days, so that's why they lived like that. But the story is just amazing. I cannot tell you how much I love this book.
Did cave people have children at 9 and 10?
Yeah, really, really young.
Ooh.
Well, that's why, going back in history, that's why girls mature at their age. They mature and are able to have children at that age. It goes back in time because, going back to this time, they didn't live beyond their 20s. All the cave people were ancient at 30. They were like really, really old and, died of old age at that age.
Gosh.
It's just the way that life was. So because of that, they had to have children really early. And I think historically, that's why girls now mature at the age that they do, because that's just how it was. But it describes the narrative and the way that she describes how people lived and how they survived and how they searched for food and everything is just absolutely fascinating. And also in book 2, yes, it's book 2. I won't go into any details, but basically, she meets a man. And my goodness, I used to dream about this man in this cave.
Has he got red hair?
No, he's blonde. But he's very tall, because that's the other thing about cave people. They were very short. And Ayla, because she's what's the type of person? I can't remember the exact terminology. There's Neanderthal and then she's Pro-Magna. Thank you. She's Pro-Magna. So she looks like us, basically. And they're very tall and cave people are very short. And as she started to grow, by the time she was like 10, she was taller than all these cave people and they just saw her as a complete freak of nature. But the man that she meets is called Jondala, and he basically gets mauled by a lion and she takes him back to her cave and she looks after him and everything. And then, they fall in love. And anyway, I'm not going to tell you the whole story. All I will say is, go out and read it. Favourite book ever. I want to read it again now. So, Clan of the Cave Bear.
Nice.
So that's mine. So, Dan Jones.
What?
What's your favourite book?
What's under my bed? Because that's where this book was.
Well, I could tell you what's under your bed.
Socks.
Scare Electric.
Oh yeah. Star Wars.
Star Wars Lego.
And this book. So when we started talking about this, it's a difficult one because if you were to ask me what my favourite book is, I would probably give you a different answer than this book. But if you were to ask me the book that had the most profound effect on me as a person, then it's this book. So that's the reason why I picked this one. My gran and granddad bought me this. I don't think they put the date on. I'm sure I could work it, but I reckon...
It looks like an old...
Well, I don't even want to try and guess, to be honest.
Has it not got a date?
It should do somewhere, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
And that's funny, it doesn't at the front. The bottom line is they bought me this book and it was the first what I saw as serious book that I'd ever read. And if you look at the front of the book, it's just such a cool front because there's a really sort of evil looking rat driving a cart full of a band of extremely tough looking animals. But how silly does that sound? But in the background, and this is where everyone's alarm bell should start ringing because they did on me, there's an abbey. Now, I'd never even considered this, but this was bought for me probably when I was 9 or 10. And I read the book and absolutely loved it for all the reasons that Kay loved hers. Characters jumped off the page, unbelievably descriptive. First time I'd ever read a book, and I felt that I was actually there, and experiencing the things that the characters experience. Also, as well, what's cool about the book is, whilst it is a book for young, young.
Yeah, I would say young adults, you would call it these days.
Yeah.
It's like the 9 to 12 bracket, I would say. Young teenagers there.
Anyone could read this. I mean, what was Harry Potter written for?
The same
age group.
Yeah.
And how many adults have read that?
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, I would say to you,
if you like Harry Potter, yeah.
If you're interested in abbeys, if you are interested in Harry Potter type stories, then give this book a go. Now, it's interesting because they also made a cartoon series of this, and it's utterly awful. And it's such a shame because the story's so vast. I mean, this is crying out for a film made in the same vein as the creatures in Hobbit. I don't mean disgusting, horrible, but there's creatures in Hobbit, and also in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, where if you made this film with those as the main characters, it'd be epic. It's such an epic story. And again, similar to Kay's, he wrote so many books afterwards. Now, if I'm honest, I didn't really like any of the books afterwards. This was the one that he nailed, and then he's made a living out of all the other ones, and good luck to him for doing that. But I would go and read this one, and it did make me start to sort of think. It's so funny. Was this when you said to me, "Don't try and analyse it" or something or other? Just tell me your favourite book. Well, I can't not analyse it. And I started thinking about how was this the route to my love of abbeys? Because I got this book round about the time I was at the Minster School, and when you combine all those things, perhaps that has sort of laid the seeds which all you guys have seen in our favourite places to knit over the last 16 episodes. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Redwall, though, Brian Jakes, definitely worth a read.
Yeah.
And if you do, we've got to start a thread, what's on your bookshelf?
We do.
Which we will start. But if you do read this, I'd love to just hear what you think. And don't be afraid to go, I read it and I just didn't get it, or, didn't like it. I'd be really interested. If I'm honest, I'm not certain I could sit and read this now.
Right.
And the reason for that is what, Kay? What types of books do I like to read?
Gosh, heavy, historical. I think you like to learn something when you read. Yes. Whereas I'm the complete opposite, as you will see from what I've recently read and what Dan's reading.
I see no point, and I completely accept this as an issue that I have. But I see no point in reading something if I'm not going to get something from it.
You see my challenge.
But I do have to say, Kay, that the last year and what's gone on has made me change my outlook a little bit on life. I'm not quite so... I would struggle to do things which were completely self-indulgent.
Yeah, that is
because
true.
I saw it as a total waste of my time.
Yeah.
I could be doing something which could better me as a person. I mean, what an idiot! Totally and utterly obsessive.
Sometimes you just do something for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And
Well, what have I said to you?
The joy of it.
Yeah, I agree. In the last. Since I had my treatment, I've been all about.
You have. I mean, I think
it's one of the problems I've had in my life. 38 years of that sort of approach, not good.
No.
You got to relax, baby. Chill out. Read some. Tell us.
Oh gosh, he's just going to take the mickey out
I'm not at all.
The books I've just read.
Nope, I am not.
And I apologise that these are just. They're just fun reads, and no, I'm not going to apologise.
Show me.
Okay, the last 2 books I've read over Christmas are Christmas-themed books. And it's these two. Oh, hold on there. And I really enjoyed both of them. I would say I enjoyed... Oh, I'm back to this. Oh, he was going...
It's all right.
I enjoyed the... Oh, I can't wave the right one. I enjoyed this one a little bit more, I think. The Great Christmas Knit Off by Alexandra Brown. And it was just a really fun, quick read. You know, anybody who's a knitter, I think, will enjoy that. And I read it over when, running up to Christmas. And it's just lots of fun. It's about this girl who goes to this little village and helps out this little old lady who runs this haberdashery shop. I love that word. We need more haberdasheries,
Do they sell pants?
No.
What
In haberdasheries...
What do they sell?
It's, wool and fabric and cotton reels.
Is there a posh name for people who sell pants?
And lingerie.
No, that's...
Not pants.
That sounds rude.
No.
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about?
Sorry.
He's obsessed with pants.
I'm not obsessed with pants. I thought there was a posh name for shops that...
I don't think
maybe
so.
all these years I've thought people in a haberdashery sold pants.
I've never seen pants on there. Okay.
When I say pants as well, for American people, I mean underpants.
Yeah, not trousers.
Not trousers.
Yeah.
No.
So that was the first one that I just finished. Really fun. And then that one I finished just a few days ago, actually. Christmas Rosie Hopkins Sweet Shop. And I've read a few of these. It's a series of Rosie, who is actually a nurse by trade, but she ends up in this little village in Derbyshire. And there's a whole story behind it, but she ends up running this little old-fashioned sweet shop. And it's just the story behind it. And this one is obviously set at Christmas and the happenings and what goes on. Again, just a really nice, easy read. And that's kind of what I've wanted just lately. I'm really not like Dan with the heavy reading. But I think this is why...
What do you mean just lately? That's what you like to read.
Well, I guess. But
Good for you.
I have read other stuff. But not... I mean, this is very light reading for me. But, why not? And why not just have a bit of fun with your reading? And I think this is why we thought it would be interesting, because I'll be reading stuff like this and Dan will be reading
stuff.
What he's reading now.
Which actually is fairly... Actually, this is fairly sort of...
Yeah, it is.
This isn't as far to the craziness as it can get. We'll get to that in the course of the segment over the next few episodes. I'm reading this, which is about Ernest Shackleton. For those of you who don't know who he was one of the explorers who went to, in the early, it's 1904, around that time, went to the Antarctic, basically to the poles, to explore them, because it was unknown territory back then. And I've never really read anything about it before. Kay got it for me for Christmas. And it's a really, really good read. I'm finding stuff out about all sorts of different things.
You keep telling me things, don't you? Oh, did you know that this? And did you know? So I'm learning stuff as well.
It's very interesting. I didn't expect to be quite so engrossed by it. I expected it to be more of the type of book which I tend to read a lot of, which is extremely factual, and perhaps not so entertaining. Whereas this has been written, it's written by a guy called Michael Smith, and it's written in a really entertaining way. And I think it's something that people should read, because it's really, apart from the space race, it's the last time we ever on the planet got to go somewhere and discover new things that we'd never experienced before. And when you think, it's in the 1900s, and we can all remember those. It's amazing. Well, it's a fair point, because we are now in 2014. So anyone 14 or younger can't remember those.
No.
It's a really interesting read, and definitely worth a go. Please come and share with us in the thread what you're reading at the moment, what's on your bookshelf. Also, it'd be really interesting to know what types of books you like and why.
I haven't said what I'm reading now, actually, because I've just finished those. Shall I just quickly say?
Yeah, just tell us. Because you can't show us.
Well, it's on my Kindle. It's not.
Would you like to see a Kindle?
Would you like? Well, I can show you a picture of it, can't I? Though on my thingy-my-bobby. That's the word of the episode, obviously. On my thingy-my-bobby. I'm reading at the moment. If you can see that one that's there, Cupcakes at Carrington's.
This is an intense read.
It is.
This is about. Can I guess what this is about?
Go on then.
This is about the people who pioneered the use of electric ovens.
Oh gosh, and
Go on.
I'll tell you why I chose this, because it's by the same woman who wrote this one. It's Alexandra Brown, and I must have read this one, and that's what I tend to do. If I like the author, I'll go and find other one, and I've just put this on here for Christmas, I think. But I've only just started it, but it's just about a woman who runs like a little cafe, cupcake cafe in a big department store. It's about all the people that work in the department store and what's going on. So, and that middle one there, can you see Winter Solstice by Rosamund Pilcher? I'll talk about that next time, because that is my other favourite that I've read like 6 times. So I'll talk about that one next time.
As it's a new segment, I think we should have a What's on Your Bookshelf? What's on your bookshelf?
Let's just pop my little Kindle in its little hidey hole. Right. So are you ready for this? And this is my third current little crochet buddy, crochet pal. And this is somebody we've known for a long while actually now, and you may have chosen her before, I think, but you know, wiping the slate clean. So are you ready? What's on your bookshelf is Amelia. Emile carved 1963, and that gives away your age, Amelia. Amelia in Massachusetts.
Yay!
Who's Portuguese-Canadian. I got it completely right this time, Amelia. She's Portuguese-Canadian from Canada, but currently lives in Massachusetts, not far from Boston. So Amelia,
what's on your bookshelf?
What are you?
Well, what they could do is they could do either what they're currently reading, or if they're not reading anything at the moment, they could do their favourite ever book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not reading anything, Amelia, then yeah, tell us your favourite book.
But please, anyone who would like to as well, as I've said already, please get over and you know, tell us.
On the What's on Your Bookshelf thread?
Yes.
Tell us. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Come and tell us your favourite books, because it's the first.
Cool. So yeah, come and tell us your favourite books, and if you get in the flow, tell us what you're reading as well.
Yeah, but Amelia, get over there.
Yeah, you should be the first one.
Yes, Amelia, go now.
Go. Amelia,
She will.
Steady,
She
steady,
will.
go. Too late. No, only joking. It's time for the Endy Bits.
Endy Bits. Ooh.
And we didn't say at the start.
We didn't say at the start.
No, we're naughty. We've been catching you out. People perhaps have been wondering about the KalCal and the prizes.
You think we forgot?
We did not forget. Aha. So
we drew So the knit along, crochet along, toy along that we had that finished at the end of December. We had quite a lot of kind of last minute entries, which was fun. So I closed the thread on the 1st of January, and we drew for the prizes. I think we've got 8, so we just thought it's going to be easier if we just draw for them. So we've already drew for the prizes, so I'm going to run through now who won the prizes and who won what.
Reel them off, baby.
So I shall start with just whatever that one is.
What is that one?
Right, this one is the fondant fibre.
Ooh, Deb.
Yeah, it's lovely. We were talking about you, Deb, in a good way.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting in touch.
Yeah, he's after some handspun.
You're
Deb.
my dealer.
He needs some. And this is BFL, Falkland, cashmere and silk. I mean, it's super lovely. And you've got 200 metres at 9 wraps per inch.
Oh, that stuff's squishy.
That stuff's squishy.
Squishy.
And it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. And the winner of this one is, and you can see my sophisticated way of writing down the winner. It was number 248. And it's Lily Mayer. So Lily Mayer is Teresa in Australia. It's going all the way to Australia, Teresa. And she made a love bot. How cool is that she made a love bot? So Teresa, can you PM me on Ravelry with your address, and I will get that sent off. So Lily Mayer, and I'm going to tuck that back in there.
And the next prize.
You haven't seen this one. Look.
Is this? This is Juliana's Lucid Dream sock yarn. It's 80% superwash merino wool. What else do I need to say?
20% nylon.
20% nylon.
And the colourway is?
Frog Pyjamas.
And it's self-striping.
Frog Pyjamas.
It's really beautiful yarn.
These are not pyjamas.
These are not pyjamas. They're a warm-up suit.
And the winner of this
is...
Ting Ting Knits. Yay!
Ting Ting.
So this was hand-dyed in Ottawa. It's come all the way to Cleveland.
Cleveland?
Well, yeah, sorry.
We're in County Durham.
County Durham. Close to Cleveland.
And it's going back to...
Michigan.
Michigan. Ting Ting. Ting Ting. I have your address already.
Cool.
Because she's bought a bag from me in the past. So I will get that out to you. Well done, Ting Ting.
Yeah, let's not mess that.
No, don't mess up my system.
Next.
System of
Next prize.
bits of paper. Next is this lovely Ripples Crafts. It's a sport weight superwash merino. You can see it there. Syringa colourway. It's 3 red dogs. And 3 red dogs is summer in Virginia. Doesn't that sound lovely? Summer in Virginia. I'd love it to be summer in Virginia right now. That'd be nice. And she knit a little mouse. It was number 271. I should have said that at the beginning. Post 271, 3 red dogs. So summer again. PM me on Ravelry and I shall get that in the mail.
This is Dreams in Fibre.
Yeah, it's Erica's yarn.
Yeah.
She said I could gift.
Erica.
Yeah.
She
Erica
rules.
Luda.
And Nick. Hope you're okay, Nick. Hi. Love the sound of all your Christmas presents. I'm very jealous. What is this? The tag won't look me in the face.
It's her glint sock. It's in the colourway Rose. It is 438 yards. She's not put down what the mix is, but I'm guessing it's merino nylon.
Extremely nice is what I would call the base.
It's very beautiful colourway.
And the winner of this is Libellina.
Libellina, yeah. Libellina is number 221, post 221. Libellina, and she is...
Isabel in Ontario, Canada.
And she made...
an ice cream. Congratulations. What?
She made a Miss Gelato. I was so happy.
Gelato,
I was so happy one of the winners made a gelato.
That's so cool.
I was really pleased. So again, Isabel, PM me on Ravelry and I shall get that sent to you. I will do a little post on the episode thread and I'll link everybody in the winners, so you will all get a Ravelry message about it.
More.
Oh, is it me? It's me next. Is me next?
Yes. Is
this beautiful skein, which is the Uncommon Thread, and I was talking about this before. It's BFL sock. So it's 100% superwash BFL, and the colourway is Naval Officer. And if you can see, it's beautiful tonal navy tealy blue. It's more teal actually than it's coming up on there. Beautiful. 400 metres. The winner of that one was number 175, and that's Knit Venture. We know Knit Venture.
Yes.
It's Pam from Illinois, and she made a sheep. So Pam, PM me on Ravelry. I will get that out to you. Well done.
And the next prize is some DPNs.
Yay!
2.5mm carbons. Rather lovely. And the winner of this is Patron Knits, who knit a pumpkin. And Patron Knits is the man with no name.
There's no name on Ravelry for you, so I don't know what your name is.
The winner of this prize is Clint Eastwood. He is the man with no name.
And it is a man, I believe.
It better be.
I think it is.
If you're not, sincere apologies.
I think your Ravelry photo was a male person, so I'm presuming that's you, but that's not always the case.
Well, they're in Arizona. So Patron Knits, please PM Kay, and she will get you sorted.
Okay.
Next.
The last one, actually. Oh no, not the last one.
Good.
That's the next to last one. is, oh yes, this is exciting. The Stranded Knits book, which is excellent and quite a super duper prize, if I do say so myself. And the winner of this, I was so giddy. We were both so giddy when his name came up. We were like, ah!
I fell off my seat.
I did.
I can't even remember who the winner is.
It's number 197. And it's Amy Yarnosaurus. No, I totally messed it up. Amysaurus. I thought there was a yarn in there somewhere, Amy. It's Amy from Suffolk. So it's in the UK. We've got a UK winner. Yes. Yay. So Amysaurus. Amy's on. We know Amy. You know she's always on Instagram and everything. So Amy, PM me your address. I shall send you this beautiful book.
How exciting! And there's another prize. It's the final prize.
Yep.
I'm not really sure what it is.
Oh right. This we didn't say this on the last one because I hadn't seen the message, so I apologise. But Marlisha and Talia from the Penhook and Needles podcast donated a $10 downloadable pattern, any pattern of your choice. So I thanked them obviously, and we drew another winner for this, and this was number 168, and it's
Maria Wilhelmina,
and she is
Marriott.
I think it's Marriott.
Marriott. Sorry if we're wrong and getting
Marriott.
that wrong, because I hate getting people's names wrong. But Marriott, maybe.
Yeah.
And you're the Alamo.
Alamo CA. She put. I'm presuming that's California.
The man with no name needs to get down the Alamo.
I didn't know the Alamo. Is the Alamo in California? Is that the actual Alamo? I don't know.
I think so.
Oh right, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
really
cool.
We want to come visit.
So.
Oh, hold on! Didn't Bakery Bear go to the Alamo?
Yeah.
And then she got robbed. And she got home. We're so sorry. Anyway.
So Marriott, I'm really sorry if I'm saying your name wrong.
Let's say Marriott.
Marriott.
Yeah.
If you PM me what pattern you want, then I will let Marlisha and Talia know, and then they will send it to you. So just to keep it simple, PM me what you want, $10 maximum downloadable pattern, and then I will let them know, okay? Yay! So that's all the winners.
It is, and I think that's the end of the podcast.
Woohoo! One more thing.
Oh.
I haven't been buying yarn, as I've said, from the beginning of January. However, I purchased this before the end of December, and this was the last thing that I bought. So it is the lovely, and that colour's not quite right. That blue is more turquoise, isn't it? Aqua. I'd say aqua. It's Dancing Dog Dye Works, and it is in the gingerbread houses. Gingerbread houses. How stupid did that sound?
Yeah.
Gingerbread houses. Gingerbread houses. 2-stripe. And I made a bit of an error not that I didn't want to buy it, but I thought in my head, I thought it was the one that had nylon in it, and it's not, it's just the Super Posh Merino. It's absolutely fine. I'm going to make some mittens, I think, out of it, or gloves. So, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. Love it.
So, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
2 weeks.
For episode 18.
Yes.
And we'll be favourite places to knitting. We will be what's on your bookshelving. No baking next episode.
No.
That will reappear. Who knows when? Yeah. But people must make their mini Victoria sponges.
Mini Victoria sponges. Now, Josh, I'm relying on you.
For plenty of mini Victoria sponges of copiously amazing designs. But you need to. This is your recipe, so you will put this in.
Because it's not it's just my own recipe. So I mean, if you watch what I do, you'll see how to do it. There's no kind of measurements as such, and you'll understand that when you see.
Well, they've seen it.
Well, you have seen it already, so you understand that. But I will put the ingredients down on the thread.
Yeah. Cool. So on the Ravelry forum, and I'll maybe stick that up at the bottom now, so you can get over to maybe.
So I was going to put it on the episode thread.
Yeah, actually, leave it on the episode.
Should be on. I'll put it in the episode thread as a separate post. Just I'll list all the ingredients.
Keep it simple.
And then you just need to watch, the video. You've watched it, and then you'll know what to do. So.
Get baking and show us your pictures and tell us what you think. Is it 10 out of 10? Was Bryony right? So we'll see you next time.
Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you how I join my squares as you go. So I've got a little square here that I'm going to join into this spot here. The first thing we need to do is join in our border yarn, so we just tie that, and I'm not doing any kind of instructions as to how I crochet or anything like that, because everybody that's making this can already do that. So we've joined in our yarn, and what I'm going to do, and this is what you do for every square that you join on, is we work the first side. So I'm going to just go in and work that first edge. And what I do as well, so that I don't have to weave in these ends, is I catch those two ends there, I catch them on the back. You'll see I go under and over. So 2, oops, 3. So that's like half of that corner. Chain 1, keep that on the back there and catch it, and then just do 3 like normal. We're just doing, your normal granny edge. 3, chain 1, and I catch that again. I just do it for 3 of my little groups of 3. And there's one. And then I let go of those 2 at the back. And then just carry on and finish this edge. Last one is the corner, and we just work half of that little group for the corner, so just your 3. See, I would call this a treble crochet, but I'm working in UK terms. So just stop when you get to that point where you've just done your 3, you haven't done any chains or anything like that. And it's at this point that we start joining. And we join at this corner here first of all. And basically what you're doing is you're replacing your chain stitches in between your groups of 3 by joining it. So whilst you're joining, you don't do your chains in between. So the first one is we go in at that corner point here, and we just catch the yarn, pull it through, and then finish that corner by doing another 3 trebles, or doubles I think you would call them in the US. I think I got that the right way around. So we've finished that corner, and now we don't chain, we go into the next gap, catch it, and join. It's just basically a slip stitch, and then we go into our next little space, and do our next group of 3. Kind of all over the place because I'm not used to showing people crochet at all. I'm not really a crocheter.
No.
No. So I'm not fast or anything like that. Amelia's like, oh my gosh. She's like Superwoman. So we've done that 3, and then we go into the next one and join and do our next group of 3, and we just carry on like that until you get to the top. 3, nearly at the top, and we're now going into the corner one. So we're just going to do again, we're just going to do that first group of 3, and then I'll show you how to do the corner. It's super simple, I think, this. I mean, if I can do it and I'm not a crocheter, then it's got to be simple, really. Right, so we've done that first group of 3, and we go into the first corner of this square on the right hand side. Do the same thing. We slip stitch and join it, and then we're turning. Just rearrange so you can see, and we're now on this side. If you were joining this first square here, you just join it to this point like we've got there, and then you just finish your round like you would do normally. I'm showing you the 2 sides because this is the one you will do the most often. So now we go into the other corner of this square over here, the other side that you're joining. Let's get that end out of the way and join that corner, and then you go ahead and finish your corner off on the square that we're joining. So another 3. So now we've joined a side and that corner, and then we do exactly the same thing as we did before. We just join the side by replacing those chains in between with the little joining slip stitch. Okay, so we've got to the corner and we've done the group of 3 again, and we're just going to join it in that bottom corner as we did before. And now we've finished all the joining, so all we need to do now is just finish our last side as we would do normally. So just finish that group of 3. I'm pulling on this yarn because it's rolled under the table. And then we are chaining now because we're just doing a normal side. So chain 1, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 chain and join to the 3rd stitch. Trim, and you're done. So we've joined in that square, and then because we on the back, I wouldn't call it weaving in because you're not really weaving in, you're just running those threads underneath when you're crocheting. I trim it but not all the way. Whoops, flew away. Not all the way because it does tend to kind of jump back as it does with any weaving in, so I'll go back and trim all those ends properly when it's all done. And there we are, done.